Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Budgeting Made Easy. My name is Luis, and I'm a part of the Patelco Credit Union's financial well-being team, supporting wellness education and financial coaching to our members and the communities where they live. A link to a recorded version of this webinar will be emailed to all registrants by Friday, this coming Friday. And we will have a Q&A session at the end of our meeting. So please make sure to put your question in the Q&A and feel free to communicate in the chat. So who is Patelco? Good question. Back in 1936, with only $500 in assets, a few employees at Pacific Telephone and Telegraph Company, now AT&T, had a dream to create a credit union. A fixture in the Bay Area since then, Patelco Credit Union is now a full-service, not-for-profit financial cooperative dedicated to helping our members and communities prosper. With $8 billion in assets and over 400,000 members nationwide, we are one of the largest credit unions in the nation. Although we've grown exponentially, our purpose remains with our members, fueling hope and creating opportunities to build financial resiliency and empower them to achieve financial freedom. In keeping with our mission, we have some upcoming webinars that you can attend to support your financial health. Next, at the end of this month, January 25th, we'll have a paying off debt seminar to help you learn tips and tricks and using resources to help you get rid of debt faster and sooner. In February, we'll have a fraud prevention and internet safety. That's going to be on February 8th. And then February 22nd, we'll have a financial aid for college-bound students webinar as well. And so keep in mind, you can visit our website at patelco.org to look for more information about our upcoming webinars and how to register. And without further ado, let me introduce today's presenter, Veronica Dangerfield. Veronica is a senior financial wellness educator with Patelco Credit Union, who brings an enthusiasm that is engaging and thought-provoking. Veronica's mesmerizing presentations grab the mind, ignite the soul, and are sure to fatten your wallet. A published poet, professional comedian, and award-winning international speaker, Veronica's presentations will arm you with key takeaways that will shift your thinking, impact your life under the guise of having fun. Veronica, it's all yours.
Awesome. Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year. It is 2023, and this is an opportunity for us to fine-tune our financial health. How you doing out there? Y'all doing okay? So January started, and I decided to do dry January. How many of you guys are doing dry January? Well, it has been absolutely wonderful for my budget. And, you know, it created a consciousness around a habit that that was unconscious. It was like innocuous, you know, you have a cocktail here, you have a cocktail there. And then when you stop, you realize how many cocktails there actually were. Now, this is great with budgeting because it also brings your spending into consciousness so that you're aware of what you're doing at all times financially. I put on my yellow so I can be as bright as the sun in this rainy Bay Area weather. And I am so honored and pleased to have you here. So thank you for coming. Thank you for honoring your life and your energy, because with paying attention to your money, because we create what we pay attention to, right? We create what we pay attention to, and we're gonna talk about budgeting for success. Oh, all righty then. So my name is Veronica Dangerfield again. My comedy line is, I'm Rodney's only Black child. Yeah, I didn't know I was funny too. I am the senior financial educator here at Patelco, and I have been proudly serving Patelco for 16 years, and I proudly serve the credit union industry for 22 years. Yeah, I don't look that old, but I started as a mere baby. I have on here a picture of me for my birthday. I always travel, and I went to Paris. And that is me greeting my financial life in 2023. And I'm holding that consciousness and that optimism for your financial life. So of course, Patelco is here to build your financial life, regardless of what's going on. We're going to talk today about the first thing, which is managing effectively. When you're managing effectively, you're conscious about the decisions that you're making, you're purposeful, you're intentional, and you're mindful. And if you can do those things, guess what? You get to be resilient. When you hit that Bay Area pothole that hasn't been repaired in a long time because of all of the rain, you have the finances there so that you can protect your income. And then we're going to seize opportunities so that we can live the life of our dreams. And a lot of this, you guys, I want you to understand that I am not going to give you a blanket on what you should do with your finances. My job here is to give you so many great ideas that you can be enthusiastic and welcoming about your finances. That you can take your time and you can feel good. And today is the first day of the rest of your life. And whatever happened in the past is in the past, but we can go and move on consciously, intentionally, purposefully, so that we can build a financial life that we deserve. Ashe, I say Ashe a lot. Ashe is a Yoruba word from Africa. And Ashe, all of us have an inner Ashe, and Ashe is like amen on steroids. So when I say Ashe, I'm building your financial powers with positive energy, Ashe. So budgeting made easy. Now budgeting may or may not be easy, but it is so worth doing. I am going to give you every single budgeting idea that I have. Now, some of this is going to work for you just perfectly, and some of this is not, but you get a chance to experiment with your life and figure out exactly what size shoe you wear, exactly what type of budget that you're going to use in order to make a strong financial foundation. Now, I'm going to give you so much information that I just want you to relax, take the information in, and process it. We will be sending you a copy of this presentation, and then you can study it and listen to some of the points in detail. But right now, it's been a long day. I want you to sit back and relax and just absorb all of this great information that we're going to share. So your best thinking got you where you are right now. What is going to get you beyond your own best thinking? And that is learning. So you're going to learn some new skills today so that you can change the habits around and create a new financial reality for yourself. So I want you to have an open mind. I don't want you to come in with any negativity. Negativity actually dampens your enthusiasm, and it also makes you think what is impossible is not possible, but it is possible. So have an open mind. And I also don't want you to be mean to yourself. This is not, it's not the time to be critical or judgmental. This is the time to be open. You have done nothing wrong. You've gotten here with the best of abilities from what you've already learned. So we're going to try to learn more now. So the most important thing about all of this is why. Why do you want to budget? You want to budget so that you can eventually get to financial freedom. You want to budget so that it can increase the quality of your life because you can spend guilt-free. You want to budget so that you can go on an international vacation every single birthday, that you can have ample funds because you're directed, because we create what we pay attention to. Where energy goes, energy flows. So think about why, because if you don't have a good why, the first time you get emotionally compulsive about something, you're going to throw your plans out the window. So hitch on to a good why and make sure that that why is strong enough to get beyond all the excuses that you're going to fall into because it's too easy. Because what is easy to do is also easy not to do, right? Right? If you agree with me, put a 5 in the chat. What is easy to do is also easy not to do. Put a 5 in the chat. Ashe. So our learning objective today, what we're going to be learning about, we're going to review financial fundamentals. That is directing the GPS. And then we're going to do zero-based budgeting, which is requires starting at 0 and justifying each expense as it's added to the budget. We're going to do budgeting for outcomes, which involves determining what is available, and for each of your priorities you're going to focus on. We're going to do base budgeting. We start with the previous year's budget and then go to the new budget. So there's going to be a variety of budgeting. We even have the anti-budget if you're not that analytical. So there's going to be something here for you. So make sure you hang in there with us. So first we're going to start with the fundamentals. When you want to build a house, you want to build it on rock. When in the '89 earthquake, I lived in San Francisco, and when the earthquake came, because my condo was built on rock, we only lost one lamp that my ex-husband hated, so it died. But the people who had their houses that were built on sand they sunk right into the ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a few fundamentals. They're going to be a review, but learning is repeating the same thing over and over so that you can understand what it is. So we're going to review that very briefly, some of the fundamentals, and then we're going to get to the budgeting. Okay? Y'all with me? Right on. I love it. I love it. I want more of it. First of all, we're going to talk about income protection. There's two things that you have to protect financially. You have to protect your income and you have to protect your property. Why? Because eventually you're not going to be able to replace it. So you have to protect it. And of course, you're going to protect your income with insurance. So the saying goes, if you can't replace it, insurance. So you have your health insurance, your life insurance, you have homeowners insurance, you have renters insurance, and you have auto insurance. And I think insurance is actually a way of protecting your property and your income. So make sure that you have disability insurance because you never know what's going to happen. The next one is basic principle, saving and investing, saving for now and investing for the future. It is amazing how short the years are and how long the days are. And it is shocking to wake up 50, 60, 30, and 40 years old. But so what you have to do is you don't have to be perfect at this. You can still spend your money, but you can't spend all of your money. You have to have a budget and you have to live underneath it so you can save for your future self, because they would be very disappointed in you if you didn't. And you have to pay yourself first. I was talking to this with my adult son and he said, Mom, pay yourself first. What does that mean? I am going to explain what that means. That means taking the first amount of money that you earn and you put it in an account that's not attached to your spending account. What, Veronica? No, it is not attached to your spending account. It is in a secret, safe, sacred, separate savings account. And what you do is you fund that. You pay yourself first. And it's not in an account that you spend, because this sacred saving, because what? You are sacred. There's nobody like you in the world, and you cannot be replaced. So when you're saving for your sacred self, you become your own savior. Oh my God, that's deep. Don't you love it when I get deep? Anyway, so of course you have to have an emergency fund. So most financial experts, they say you have to have 3 to 6 months of savings for an emergency. And most of them advocate that it should be in cash. But I want you to know that I personally think that if you have a line of credit somewhere and that is fully funded, that you can use that as an emergency account. So it just doesn't have to be cash, but you do have to be able to prepare in the event that you're going to need cash. Okay, so that's what that's about. And of course, estate planning. Patelco gives 2 to 3 estate planning webinars a year, and it's so important. It's a love letter that you leave for your children and for your family. And if you don't plan your estate, the state of California will. And they're going to take a lot of your money. So have a power of attorney for your life, have a power of attorney for your finances. And if you have a house in California, make sure you have an estate, you have a trust, and somebody knows where the trust is, and you have multiple copies. Because once you leave your attorneys, they're not responsible for your trust. So make sure that you take care of your money when you're here and take care of your money when you're not. And retirement, whatever that means to you personally. Retirement might be working part-time. I can't never see myself not teaching. I love teaching so much, so that even if I'm not working a full-time job, I will work some more, but I will have ample funds available so that I can make choices that are determined on my specific needs. And you guys deserve this. So now we're going to talk about budgeting. Budgets are amazing. If I had to be a cheerleader for one thing, I would be a cheerleader for budgeting. Why? Because it makes you feel so good about your money. It eliminates guilt, and it also increases your conscious spending. It also allows you to improve your spending habits. And that's something like a diet. It can always be improved. And the more you pay attention to it, the more and the better you feel. And then it avoids debt and it improves your credit score. Because if you don't plan and have a great budget, you're going to, the possibility that you supplement your income with credit cards is there. I personally know a lot about this because I thought I had a zero-based budget, and every once in a while I used my credit cards, and all of a sudden I had $3,000 worth of debt, and I didn't know where it came from because I was budgeting my money so well, but obviously not. So you have to make sure that a good budget will decrease your debt load. And it also supports your financial goals. Remember, you guys, earlier in this presentation when I was talking about the why? All of us should have financial goals. And a budget is not a guesstimate. I used to think it was a budget at the end of the month when I had no money, but no, a budget is a written plan that accounts for every penny before you spend it. It's before you spend it. So how many of you, put 3 in the chat, put the number 3. How many of you have a budget right now that you use? Just put the number 3 if you're using a budget. Looks like quite a few of you. So how many of you think your budget could be improved? Is your budget giving you what you want out of life? That's why I want you to not only to review this budgeting presentation and then come back, continue coming back to our webinars so we can continue your education. So first of all, the steps, we're going to estimate our income. And number 2 is not paying off bills. Number 2 is paying yourself first. You're going to give yourself a solid reason to spend. And the next one, you're going to estimate your expenses. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but my expenses with PG&E off the chart. I was thinking like PG&E is like custody of a small child. I paid them custody awards, PG&E. It's so high. And then, of course, you're going to balance the budget, okay? So now we're going to talk about a few categories. Committed, periodic expenses. These are the ones that can really blow your budget. So right now, since it's the beginning of the year, you know your auto insurance is coming up, your home or your renter's insurance is coming up, your life insurance fees, and your health insurance if it's not deducted out of your paycheck. Also, you're going to have anniversaries. Also, you're going to have vacations. These all should have monthly funding. We're going to talk about where to put these, but if you don't understand that you're going to have committed, periodical, predictable intervals expenses, it's going to knock you off your budget horse. So needs cannot live without. You know, everybody talks about needs and wants in a budgeting presentation. And I was thinking, this is pretty lame. But then I did some research. It's called The Biology of Desire. And it showed me the importance of understanding needs and wants. So needs cannot live without. So we know you're going to take care of your needs because you have to. As you can see, it's fresh food, shelter, healthcare. But then we have wants. They're deemed discretionary. Now, wants are dangerous. And you know why? Because wants are associated with desire. And desire is emotional. So you have a bigger pull for wants. You get a dopamine rush from wants. You don't get much of a dopamine push from your needs. So these you have to carefully consider because there's going to be a stronger psychological pull for your wants than your needs. So, but if you're wise and you budget them so that you can have those treats when you want them, that allow you to stay on your budget and stay consistent, it's going to be an shay, hallelujah moment, you know? So what you want to do is you don't want to cut out your entertainment or eating out, but you want to make sure that you budget it so that when you have a zero-based budget or an anti-budget, you still feel satisfied with the life that you're living. You don't want a budget to make you feel like you're totally sacrificing all the time. You want your budget to be like a warm blanket in the night, on a cold night, something that's keeping you safe and warm and cheering you up. So this is another budget killer. It's the flexible periodic expenses. And this is a good year. This is a good time since it's the beginning of the year to actually look at how much you're spending. Inflation has actually made all of these so much more expensive. but that is the reason why we're going to make sure that we can budget for them, and we're going to get them on sale, and we're going to be intentional and focused about budgeting for our flexible periodic expenses. So these are the committed, monthly committed or fixed expenses. So you guys see here, we have the fixed cost and we have the variable cost. We have fixed and we have variable. And the reason why I like to look at these side by side, because typically you can't do much about the mortgage, the rent. It's typically the same. The cable and the internet, that can be a little bit flexible. And then the variable cost. So what we're asking you to do is to think about this. All year, you think about the vacations you're gonna have. You think about what you're gonna have for lunch. You think about what you're gonna do next summer. But think about all the little things that you spend and you don't think about. So I just updated my budget, and I was a little upset because I thought I had more money than I did, but I found out that my variable costs were a little bit higher than I thought. But this isn't bad, right? This is good because you know exactly where you start from. And this here is a budget. Okay, this here is the whole microcosm of the budget. You have your income, you have your net worth, you have your liabilities, you have your savings funds. And did you notice I said funds? Yes, because I suggest that you save for different things in different categories and different accounts. I know Patelco's tired of me because I have 6 different savings accounts. I have a savings account for my car. I have a savings account for my hair. I got a savings account for my house. I even have a savings account. I call it my get out of jail card. So if I need some extra money and the children don't have it, I tell them, get the orange card, honey. You guys have some secret money that you got squirreled away? Yeah, I love myself money. And then we have our credit, and we have our budget, and we have budget number 1, and we have budget number 2. So now I'm going to ask you, how many of you have a financial calendar that says exactly when your payments are due? How many? 5, 6, 10 of you? All of you? Okay, so this is how you keep your finances organized, so you know, so that you don't have any late payments, because credit is an asset. The more you take care of it, the more it allows you to use OPM. Y'all know what that is, right? Other people's money in order to grow your wealth. So now we're going to talk about your income. Now your income is your net income, the entire, without your overtime. What you're going to do is you're going to take your net income from all sources and you're going to put it in a bill paying account. This account is not going to have a debit card because this account is just for paying bills. All the money comes in here, and then you can also fund your saving, so you know exactly how much is coming in. And this is for your budget. So what if you have Grubhub, or you have another side gig? That would be on here, but I wouldn't use that for your bill paying. I suggest you use that for your savings. For your emergency account or for your other account. And then we're going to track your savings. You're going to track the due dates on your credit card, and you're going to track your upcoming expenses. Now that is very, very important to keep your budget balanced. Your upcoming periodic expenses. So you're going to track them so that you can make sure that you have them accounted for. And next, you're going to track your savings, track your credit cards and the amounts, where they are and what their amounts are, and then you have another budget. So maybe one day you want to get a brand new car. Maybe one day you want to take a trip around the world, you know. Maybe one day you want to start funding something special for you. You're going to make a separate budget for it. You're going to divide how much money it is, and then you're going to put that in your account so you can say yes to yourself. Budgets are here for you to say yes to your life. Why? Because you create what you pay attention to, and you have saved for it, and you're aware. You are conscious. And sometimes it feels a little daunting because all of a sudden you see everything that you're spending. But with that awareness, you can be dedicated and you can take your time to find how to fine tune it so that you can increase the quality of your life, so that you can increase the quality of your financial decisions. And then here are all your bills. This is a person who has a mortgage, their PG&E. They were lucky, they probably lived in another country maybe because it's so low. And these are all the expenses that they look. And then at the end, if they have any money left over, then they can use that to further put in their retirement, put it in their around the world fund. But the thing is, this is a zero balance budget. A zero balance budget is great for people who want to track every penny. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult if you're a couple and you both are not doing this together. But it's great if you're analytical and you like numbers and you want to see everything that's going on in one place. A zero-based budget is for you. I personally am a creative person, but I have a zero-based budget because I want to see everything that's going on all at once so I can see where I need to improve. So this is another type of budget, okay? You can say, Veronica, the zero-based budget is too much for my head. What am I gonna do? This is a needs-based budget. And it's very, very simple. It's easy, but it's not simple. You make a list of every single thing that you have to pay, from the needs all the way down to the wants, and you prioritize it. And when your budget gets a little tight, you start giving up things. Like on the second one, if your budget is a little tight, you give up the comfort, the extra stuff, and the splurges. And then if it gets even tighter, you give up the entertainment and the food extra. Now, this is if you don't have a budget right now, but it's a good start. Why? It's making you conscious, it's making you intentional, and it's making you see all of your financial behaviors in front of you. So this is the needs-based budget. So there is a financial expert, I think his name is Robert Gabriel, and he says, instead of budgeting, try to reduce your budget on your three most expensive accounts: your housing, your transportation, and your food. Now, I know we live in the Bay Area. It is a high cost of living area. Most of the budgets that I see never account for the Bay Area. Why? Because we spend more on housing because things are so expensive. But what he is suggesting is being creative, doing gigs, renting out a room, so that you can cut on the three highest expenses, and then you don't have to worry about all the rest. This may work for some people, it doesn't work for all. So that is why I gave you several types of budgets so that you can pick something that's good for you. And then there is the envelope, where you have, and this was in the latest financial magazine that I read, and they said, just put all the money in envelopes. And then that's how you plan it out. Good for some people, not good for all, but it's just a way to start budgeting. So what does it take to waste $10,000 a year? It's just $27.40 a day, you guys. $27.40 a day is $10,000 down the drain. So if you have your budget and you are conscious, intentional, and your why is big, you can save $10,000 a day on not eating out at lunch through having a very good budget. So now we're going to talk a little bit about how to track your income and expenses. And you can do it by paper. You can do electronic, online, or mobile. You can do a digital budgeting option. Right now, I'm using Mint. It takes a little bit of time to set it up. It takes a little bit of time to understand it, but your entire financial picture is in front of you. We also have a budgeting app on Patelco on our online banking. You can also try that. Very good. We have spreadsheets you can use. You can do an Excel spreadsheet. I didn't think I was very good at Excel, but I became a little bit better when I started practicing it. And then you're going to track your progress. Now, this is a budget is going to be something that you are going to refine. It's not going to be perfect the first time or the second time or the third time. It is going to grow with you. But what I want to encourage you is not to give up, to be consistent and to try and to have your goals again so big that you will review your progress monthly. You will adjust your plan as necessary. You'll be accountable with somebody else other than yourself. Accountability, so important. And you can celebrate every goal reached. Just because something is difficult and takes time doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it, because we can do hard things, right? All righty then. I'm talking a lot. And guess what, you guys? Said it before, it's a fundamental. Saving is your number one expense because you are a financial priority in your life. And then beware of credit cards. I say only use one. If you have huge credit card debt and you want to have some ideas on that, please come to the next webinar because I'm going to give you specific ideas on how to address consumer debt so that at the beginning of the year, you will not be suffering. Because the interest rates have gone up so much lately, the credit cards have really gone up. I just got a statement from Macy's, and Macy's went to 29.99% on their credit cards. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And also, you guys be aware of buy now, pay later. There's no consumer protections on it after that, and it can be very, very expensive. So this is really important, a category, your fund category. You have to have a fund category. How many of you have fund categories now where you save money so that you can go out and spend and have a great time? Put a number 1 in the chat if you have a fund account. Just a 1. Not many of you have a fund account. So it's so important for you to start having a fund account so that you can actually enjoy your money. And this is another thing I wanted to bring to you. Remember, we talked about those periodical expenses that come up. You have your emergency fund, and then you have a sinking fund. And a sinking fund is for infrequent, unplanned expenses. It varies depending on your goals, and you can keep it in a multiple savings account or cash envelopes. So you have your emergency savings account, and then you have your sinking fund for your anticipated future expenses. What is your sinking fund for? Anticipated future expenses. You're going to be able to make sure that you know what's coming on down the line. And then, of course, we have the 70% rule. It's a monthly budgeting guideline. So you guys, there's so many types of budgets. And this is just one of them. 70% on expenses and 30% on saving, debt, and tithing. Tithing is very, very important. You have to be able to understand that giving away money is an abundance technique. Because when you give money away, you show the universe that you understand that you're in abundance. And it also allows the creative flow of money to continue in your life. So make sure that you live in gratitude and that you tithe your money, and don't be afraid to give money away, because it always comes back to you double and triply fold. And this is the anti-budget. Now you're asking, what is the anti-budget? The anti-budget is you don't do the nickel and diming. You just save 30% of your income. Then you do whatever you want with your money. This works for some people if they just can't stand the nickel and the diming, but they want to still control their expenses. Take 30% and save it, 10% for your emergency, 10% for investment, 10% to give away, and then carefully look at the rest of the expenses and make it work. And if you're living on a reduced income, some of you might be the victim of losing your job. You might have had a divorce or something like that. And I'm telling you, I've been there. I've had great credit and I've had horrible credit. And not because of the type of person that I was, but because I'm living a life that's full of precarity. There's things that are going to happen that you cannot control, and it's not your fault, but you just have to get up and just do the best that you can. So living on a reduced income, just figure out whether the situation is temporary or permanent. Develop a budget while you're prioritizing your needs before anything else. And recognize that you are not your salary, and always ask for help. We have certified financial counselors here at Patelco. They can help you with budgeting, they can help you with credit, and it is at no cost, and you don't even have to be a member. So, and asking for help is a courageous thing to do. So if you're struggling, don't struggle alone. Know that things can get better, and as a community, we're here to help each other. Okay, just a little review. You have to know your why, identify your triggers. Do you want to spend when you're hungry, lonely, angry, or tired, or hangry? When you're emotional, don't do it, because you're going to be spending too much. Learn how to budget. Don't be afraid of it. This is just the beginning. Stay with it and automate your bills if possible. And also, if you have a house, maintain a cash reserve of 1% of the value of your house. The day before Christmas Eve, I had the awesome opportunity of replacing my water heater. It was expensive, but the good news was it was almost 20 years old, so it lasted a long time. So make sure that you have a cash reserve for the things that are going to happen to your in your life. And also you need a cash reserve. If you have a new car, you want to save for the maintenance. If you have a used car, you want to save $50 a month so that eventually you'll have a down payment for a new car when it's time for you to buy one. And if you have an older car, you want to pay $75 a month so you can anticipate the expense of having the car and replacing it. So all of this is about, you guys, is looking at your money, being intentional, focusing on your priorities, setting goals, and setting up a system that will support you in being successful. Because this is not a dress rehearsal. We only have one precious life. We should be able to fund our needs, fund our wants, and also fund our dreams. So we have the prioritized spending budget where you list and chop. We have the zero sum budget where you count every single dollar that comes in. Every single dollar has a job and is marching in the army to make your life successful. Budgeting for outcomes, you're going to prioritize your spending on exactly the goals that you have. And then you have the anti-budget where you save 25% or 35% and you spend the rest. Now, all of this is something that you can use. One of these might work exactly for you. So you are the pilot of your financial life. Use budgeting to successfully launch the ship of your dreams. Be conscious of your money so that you don't waste it, so that you can prioritize your spending, and so that you can have a fantastic financial life. And Patelco, we're here just for you. You can go to My Financial Journey and talk to a certified financial counselor that's going to be there to support you in your financial dreams. We have that Patelco Balance Pro, where you can read about all the ways that you can support yourself. And they also have webinars that teach. And of course, you can go to our new amazing website, patelco.org, and you can get all types of information that will allow you to lead the best financial life so that you can meet your goals. And life is full of precarity. It's so funny. I went to Alexa and I asked her how to spell precarity, because precarity means that life is uncertain. And she kept sending me to the Urban Dictionary. She thought I was saying an Urban Dictionary word. So it was kind of funny. But anyway, I hope that we gave you some information that can support you. Patelco has a budgeting app online that you can use to get your goals going, to fire up your goals, to have the best financial life ever. So you can have a piggy, and your pig is going to be fat with money. You're going to have a fat piggy. So thank you for attending. Luis, is there any questions that I can answer before we close off this webinar?
What a wonderful job, Veronica. And thank you for everyone for listening in. We do have a couple of questions here that have come in. We don't have them, most of them have been answered through the Q&A, but there are a few that have come in through the chat that I wanted to pass on here.
Absolutely, thank you, Luis.
And so Claudia has requested, can you explain the cash reserve for house expenses?
So I have a house, Claudia, and I had to replace the roof. I had to replace the air conditioner. I had to replace. So if you have a house, it is a major expense. And so what this account does is it's saving for all the major expenses that you have. So when you have a major expense, it won't delete your bank account and it won't surprise you. Like I said, I had a tree, didn't know the tree, wasn't familiar with the tree. The tree was in the backyard, it was dying, and I had to cut down the tree. It cost me $1,200. You know what I mean? I had water heater problems, plumbing. Oh my gosh, Claudia, plumbing. So this is just a reserve account. So when it does happen, it doesn't knock you off your financial motorcycle. You can still ride along. Thank you for that excellent question.
And Veronica, we also have a question from Andrea. It says, can you clarify what a bill paying account is? You mentioned all income should go into this type of account.
So what I'm talking about is that I have, and maybe you will too after this, have an account that is just for bills. It is not for recreation. It is not for shopping. It's just for the for your expenses, your mortgage, utilities, everything that keeps the house going. That's a good way to track it. And then I have another account that I have that's just for the fun account. So I give myself an allowance, but everything else either goes into my bill paying account, it goes into my allowance account, but the majority of it goes into my other savings account. It's just a suggestion, Andrea, to make your finances clearer, so that you can see exactly what's going on. It may or may not work for you, but it is a great suggestion if it does.
That is fabulous. And Veronica, if you can take a moment to remind everyone about when they should expect to receive the recorded session of this webinar.
Absolutely. The recorded session will be going out. Today is Wednesday. It'll be going out late Thursday. So you should all have this recorded session by Friday. If you go to webinar.com, where you can also, if you have any additional questions, you can also reach me there. I woman that site. So if you have additional questions, don't be shy. This is your credit union. This is your financial life. And guess what? You don't have to be an expert when you know one. What? You don't have to be an expert when you know one. We are here on this journey together to support each other, to love each other, and to help each other. So don't be shy. And besides, I'm your cousin. I'm just finally getting in touch with you so I can come to the family reunion.
That is hilarious. Veronica, you definitely are one of the greatest family members anyone can have.
Ashe. Ashe.
We do have a couple of quick questions here that have come in. One is, can you create multiple accounts online, or do you have to go into Patelco?
I do believe that you can go to our virtual banker during business hours, and they will allow you to, they will support you in getting additional accounts. So you don't have to come in, you can use our virtual banking services.
Great, that's fabulous. And Lisa has requested a little bit more of guidance regarding saving, asking, are there any thoughts on where to make a little money while saving for expenses?
Well, you know what? I think that is a creativity challenge. So what I would like you to do, I would like you to Google 500 ways to get $500 in 30 days. Or Google 500 ways to make $1,000 in 30 days. There's so many ways that you can increase your abundance through the information that's available. And there's fun ways to do it, and there's ways to do it that don't take a lot of time. But like I said, you create what you pay attention to. You have to look for it, and you have to make it a priority. And I am sure you will be successful, because that's a great thing to do about budgeting. You can either decrease your expenses or increase your income. I suggest you do both. Thank you, dear.
That's fabulous. And we do have just a couple of more minutes left here. So do we have any time for a few more questions, Veronica?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. So we have an anonymous question that has come in, and it says, if you're just beginning to budget, what would you recommend be the first step?
The first step is looking at your expenses. You probably have a checking account. I would go through all of December's expenses to find out exactly how much you're spending. So that's going to give you an estimate. And then you can find a budget online, or and then put all the numbers in. And then your goal is to improve on the numbers that you spent last month. So that's it. So look up your expenses, track them, put them on an Excel spreadsheet, and then do an estimate of your expenses for next month. And you're on the happy budgeting trail. Hallelujah.
And we have one fabulous question from Frederick, who's asking, how much should you have in an emergency fund?
The experts say 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Now, when we say, and expenses I'm talking about for your rent, your utilities, your groceries, your medication, and the deductible for all your medical expenses. And you're going like, whoa, that's a lot of money. Start with $1,000 and then just grow it. You know, everything in life is progressive. You're not going to get there overnight. And then slowly grow it until you have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses saved. I would go for 3 months, because if you get to 3 months, you will be very energized, and getting to 6 months can be something that you can choose to. But the experts say 3 to 6 months. And perfect question, and I'm so proud of you. Right on. Ashe.
And I think I'm reviewing here. There's quite a few more.
Yeah.
William said, when you mentioned the 30% savings for the anti-budget, should you consider automatic retirement contributions taken out of the paycheck as part of that 30%?
You know, that just depends. I try to, when I budget and my money goes to those accounts, the 30% is not included in that for me, but it could be included in that for you. So that's just an individual decision that you can make. But the good news is that you're thinking about it and you're creating it, and that's wonderful. And I would like to thank every single one of you for taking out the time in your precious lives and giving it to us here to educate you about growing your financial health. It is so important. We are honored by your presence. We love you. We want to support everything that you do. And we hope to see you back in January on the 25th, when I'm still going to be enjoying dry January for our next Paying Off Debt webinar. Thank you so much, and bless you, and you are honored. Bye. Thank you, Luis, for your help. You are amazing. Good night.
Thank you, Veronica, and thank you everyone for joining the Budgeting for Success, Budgeting Made Easy webinar with Veronica Dangerfield from Patelco Credit Union.